Do you guys have or plan on having a bunch of lighting or accessories on your 3rd gen Tundra? If so, then you should definitely invest in a switch panel. In this video, we're going to show you Yota Xpedition's solution to mount any switch panel cleanly and easily. Let's get to it. So right here we have the 2 different options for the 3rd gen Tundra. This one right here is going to be for the non-hybrid. This is going to mount on top of the battery. And this one right here is for the hybrid models. This is going to mount on top of your fuse box cover. Both are made from aluminum and they come in a nice satin black finish. So let's go ahead and take a look at the tools you're going to need to get either one of these installed on your Tundra. All right, so we got the tools here on the table for both options. Starting out with the hybrid, we have a drill and a 1/4 inch drill bit. We have a Sharpie, and we have a 3mm and a 4mm Allen wrench. For the non-hybrid Tundra, we have a 1/4 inch ratchet, a long extension, a 12mm socket, and a 3mm Allen wrench. So when it comes to difficulty of installing either one of these brackets, we're going to give it a level 2 out of 3. So some average mechanical skills is going to be needed to get this done. We're giving it a 2 because these are a blank universal bracket. So you guys are going to have to drill all your holes to mount your specific switch panel. So with that being said, let's go ahead and pop the hood on the Tundra and get into the installation. If you guys are looking for either the hybrid or the non-hybrid, look down below at the timestamps and you guys can jump right to your specific one. All right, so we got the hood popped here on the Tundra, and as you can see, this is a non-hybrid model. So we're gonna be installing the non-hybrid bracket, replacing this bracket on top of your battery. For the hybrid models, it's going to be mounting on top of this fuse box right here. Now for both model Tundras, this fuse box is exactly the same. So we're going to show you the installation on this non-hybrid model. So the first one we're going to show you guys how to install is the hybrid model. So we're going to take our fuse box cover, we're going to take this off, and we're going to head over to the bench. All right, so we're over here at the workbench. We have our fuse box cover, we have our bracket, and what we're going to do is lay this on top. This would be the side that goes towards your fender, and we're going to rest this on a flat surface like so. So once you have both of these lined up on a flat surface, we're going to go ahead and pinch it, and we're going to flip it like so. Make sure it doesn't move, and now we can go ahead and make our marks. All right, so we got our 4 holes laid out, and then we have our drill with our 1/4 inch drill bit. We're gonna go ahead, take our time, and get these all drilled out. All right, so we have our 4 holes drilled out on our fuse box cover, and we are ready to start getting the bracket mounted onto it. First thing we need to do is take the 4 feet that are included, and we'll get those mounted onto the bracket. So you're gonna have 4 feet, and you're gonna have 4 countersunk screws. So on those 4 feet, you're gonna have a wider end and a skinnier end. The wide end is gonna be going onto the fuse box cover itself. So we'll take the skinny part, put that on the bottom of our bracket, and we'll get those countersunk screws installed. Easiest way is just drop the screw in, then we can screw on the feet. And then we'll use a 3mm Allen wrench to tighten these up. All right, so we got the 4 feet attached onto the bracket, and I just want to note the reason we have it on feet is so that it is elevated from the fuse box cover. So when you have your switch panel on here, it's a little bit easier for you guys to get some wires underneath and into your switch panel. So now that we have those on, we're going to take the 4 little Allen bolts with the flat washers, and then from the inside of our fuse box cover, we're going to get this attached. As you can see, the hole is a little bit bigger than the bolt that we're using, and that's just so we can give ourselves a little bit of wiggle room so you don't have to drill these holes in the exact location. So let's go ahead now and get the bracket mounted onto our lid. All right, we got all of our screws started, so we're going to take our 4mm Allen wrench and we'll go ahead and tighten these up. All right, so at this time, we have our bracket now mounted to our fuse box cover. Now, what I would do is before mounting this on here, make sure you lay out all of your stuff, drill your holes, and then mount it onto your fuse box cover. But at this point, we are finished, and we can go ahead and put this back into our truck. So with our bracket fully installed, we can just head back to the Tundra, click this into position, and now you have a nice spot to mount your switch panel. This one is finished. Now we're gonna go ahead and show you guys how to mount the bracket for the non-hybrid models. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do for the non-hybrid model is take off this bracket here on top of the battery. So you're gonna have a 12mm bolt here and then also a 12mm nut down on the bottom. So we have our ratchet extension and our 12mm socket. Go ahead and remove both of those. Okay, so we got that bracket removed. Now I do want to mention that that bracket that we just took off is technically not holding the battery on. If you saw earlier in the clip, I can move that back and forth. It's not making contact with the battery. The battery is still in there, it's not going anywhere. That's technically just like a safety. If for some reason the battery did come out from its actual tie down, that would hold it in from coming out or moving around inside the engine bay. Our new auxiliary power bracket is gonna do the exact same thing as what that was doing. All right, so we got the non-hybrid bracket here on the table. As you can see, it comes in two pieces. So we're gonna put that together like so and use these small countersink screws to get this attached. All right, we're back here at the truck with our bracket, and we're gonna go ahead and put the bottom on the stud first. So as you're doing this, you also wanna make sure that you're not gonna be making contact with the negative or positive terminal on your battery. So we'll have that down there on the post, and now we're gonna twist this into position so we can get our nut down there and then the bolt back through there. We are gonna be using the factory hardware that we took off. All right, we got the nut started down there on the stud. Now to get the bolt through there without falling out of the socket is a little tricky. So I'm just gonna take a piece of paper and put it in between the socket and the bolt head. And that's gonna help hold the bolt in there so it's not gonna fall out. Now I can go ahead and get this started. All right, we got the nut and the bolt both tightened down, and we are finished here with the non-hybrid bracket. So one thing I do want to note is if you guys have a non-hybrid Tundra, you have the ability of actually having both of these installed at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the other one as well. Go ahead and pull this one off, and we can go ahead and drop this one on. So now you guys have twice the amount of surface area to mount whatever it is that you're trying to mount. So that's one nice thing, but if you have a hybrid model, this is the only option you can go with. All right guys, that's gonna be a wrap for this one for installing the auxiliary power bracket for the non-hybrid and hybrid model 3rd Gen Tundra. If you guys have any questions about installing either one of these, make sure to ask us down below in the comments. And if you wanna pick one of these up, make sure to head over to yotaxpedition.com. Click the link in the description. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.